do the odd problems of your homework here so that you can refresh. There was a lot of I don't remember and all that kind of stuff today. So if this is not enough, you need to go back over your notes because this quiz tomorrow is based exactly off of this homework. So if you cannot do this homework forward and backward on your own, knowing everything you should know, then you are not ready for your quiz tomorrow. Even though this homework isn't due till Wednesday, the quiz is tomorrow. Okay, now this is the order that you should be thinking of doing every factoring problem in. Make sure it's first in standard form. And remember, by standard form, I mean ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. Everything on one side of the equation, and then x squared first, then the x, then the number. Next, you should always look to see if there's a greatest common factor. Does it have a GCF? So can I divide everything by 2 or by 3 or by 3x or anything like that? Remember, if you don't take out the greatest common factor, it's just going to end up making your problem harder than it needs to be. Higher numbers, harder to find the multiples, that kind of thing. Next, you should look and see, is it a shortcut? And we have 2 shortcuts. We have the difference of squares, and those look like x squared minus 9 or something like that. And then we have the perfect square trinomials, and those are ones that look like where the first and the last term are perfect squares. So you got to know your perfect squares to look for the shortcuts. Okay, if it is a shortcut, then you just jump straight to the shortcut formula. If it's not, then you have to factor it by the normal way, a times c, unless your factors and all that kind of stuff. Always, no matter what, no matter if it was a shortcut or not, you should be foiling to check these. There's no reason to get any of these wrong. Okay, let me zoom in a little. Whoops, how about in? How about that's as far as it goes? Alright, so on this one, it's already in standard form. Remember, I changed this to a 20. It's already in standard form, so next I look for a greatest common factor. Yes, they all have a 2 in them, so I'm going to take the 2 out. So that leaves me with x squared minus 3x minus 10. If you don't do this, when you do a times c, you have negative 40, and that's a lot to factor. When I do take out the greatest common factor, now I only have a times c is 10. And it's a shortcut, it's a baby one because a is now 1. So I don't have to worry about all that. Okay, so factors of 10 would be 2 and 5. So it'd be negative 5 and positive 2. Remember, the numbers should multiply to get to AC, and they should add to get to B. And so these do. And this is a baby one, so I can jump straight to my answer right here. Keep holding on to the 2, and then just put your other 2 parentheses out there. Okay, if you were going to FOIL this back together, you would FOIL the parentheses and then distribute through, which you should be FOILing. Okay, number 3. Okay, 6x squared minus 15x equals 36. First thing we need to do is to get this into standard form, so we need to move the 36 over to the other side. Then we need to look for a greatest common factor. This has a factor of 3, so let's get that 3 out. Oops, how about minus 12? Now, this is an easier problem because a times c is not quite as large. It's only negative 24. But I still can't do the shortcut way. I still have to do everything out. So I'm going to list my factors of 24, 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8, and these are the ones I want. I want to be at negative 5, so that would be positive 3, negative 8. Now I can't do the shortcut, so I have to go all the way out. So I'm going to put the 3 so I don't lose him, and I'm going to put brackets here. 2x squared plus 3x minus 8 minus 12. I'm still going to group mine by my parentheses here. Out of this one comes an x, and 2x plus 3 is left. If this first term is negative, that negative has to come out. So negative 4, and what's left is 2x plus 3. Okay, the 3 is still out there. 2x plus 3 matches, and then x minus 4. If you wanted to FOIL this again, you would FOIL the 2 parentheses and then you would distribute the 3 through your final answer. Okay, 5. Anytime you notice that it's just 2 terms, that there's not a middle term like 5x or anything, you should look for your difference of squares. So you're checking to see perfect squares here. So this is 5x squared minus 11 squared. So the formula for difference of squares is you take these two numbers, 5x and 11, and one time you add them, and the other time you subtract them. Okay, again, if you were to FOIL this together, you would still go and get this back. So a lot of you were putting this answer on the perfect square trinomials today on the scavenger hunt, so I knew you weren't FOILing them back together, or you would have realized what you did wrong. Okay, this one, same concept, only it's not in standard form, except I really wanted this to be a positive 243, or it doesn't work, so another mistake. All right, minus 243. Okay, so now this is looking like a difference of squares because it only has 2 terms, but 12 is not a perfect square and neither is 243. So remember your order that you're supposed to be working in. Put it in standard form and then see if there's a greatest common factor, and there is. Both of these are factors of 3. So when I take a 3 out, now I have 4x squared minus 81, and then you can see the perfect squares. 4 is 2 squared and 81 is 9 squared. So that leaves us with so you still have one time you add them and the other time you subtract them. Okay. Last one, first job is to put them in standard form. So I'm going to move this 36x to the other side. So I have 2x squared minus 36x plus 162. Second job is to look to see if you can take out a greatest common factor. And I can take out a 2. So if I take out a 2, I have x squared minus 18x minus 81. Now when I see 81, I automatically think of a perfect square. So we're going to check our perfect trinomial to see if that one works. This is the one everybody was forgetting in class today. So what you do is you rewrite the first and last term as perfect squares, x and 9. Now what the middle term should be is it should be 2 times each number left in the parentheses. So in this case, 2 times x times 9. So 2 times 9 is 18, so 18x. And all you're doing that for is to make sure that it matches and it's ready to go into the formula. Once it does, now I'm just bringing this 2 along with me. Once it does, what you write is the 2 terms in parentheses. So in this case, x and 9 squared. And how you decide if it's plus or minus is you look back to the original equation, the b term, the term with the x. If it's plus, then it's plus. If it's minus, then it's minus. So this one is subtraction. So 2, because I brought that 2 with me, x from the first term, 9 from the last term, subtraction from the middle term. And again, you could FOIL that back together. You would do 2x minus 9. X minus 9, and you would see that it would work out there. Okay, go do the even problems of your homework and then go rewatch this. If it's still not making sense, you need to know this by tomorrow because you have your quiz on your own.